There comes a time in your life where you stop waiting for the applause and you start being your own standing ovation. You see, it's easy to hype others up, easy to believe in their dreams, but when it's your vision, your calling, that's when the real work begins, the inner work. For the next 3 days, I want you to talk to yourself like you are already who you are becoming. Look in that mirror and don't flinch. Say it with your chest. I'm built for this. I don't chase, I attract. Everything I need is already inside me, not because you feel it, but because you decided it. You don't need the world to co-sign your greatness. You don't need likes. You don't need shares. What you need is to walk into the room like you belong there, because you do. Let me tell you something. If your self-talk is weak, your life will follow suit. But if your self-talk is strong, no storm can shake your foundation. You become unstoppable, not because the path is easy, but because your voice is louder than your fear. For 3 days, cut off the inner critic. No, I can't. No, maybe one day. No, what if I fail? Replace it with, I will. It's already done. I'm walking in purpose. You are not here by accident. You're not breathing today for nothing. The way you speak to yourself daily is the script your life follows. It's not just a motivational phrase, it's a psychological truth. Your internal dialogue becomes the lens through which you see the world. Every goal you aim for, every setback you endure, every success you celebrate, it all runs through the filter of how you communicate with yourself. And if that filter is negative, cynical, or doubtful, then no matter how much potential you have, you'll always be talking yourself out of greatness. Think about it. The most influential voice in your life isn't your parents, your teachers, your bosses, or your friends. It's yours. You hear yourself more than you hear anyone else. So if you're constantly saying things like, I'm not good enough, I don't have what it takes, or that's not possible for someone like me, then those statements don't just stay words, they become beliefs, and beliefs shape behavior. When you believe you're not enough, you act like you're not enough. When you believe something's out of reach, you stop reaching. But flip that script and your whole reality starts to shift. Start saying, I am capable. I deserve this opportunity. I was made for more. At first, your brain might push back. It might say, no, you're lying to yourself, but that's only because it's been conditioned to believe the negative narrative. The more you speak powerfully to yourself, the more you rewrite that narrative. You don't need anyone else's permission to believe in yourself. You just need the courage to change the conversation in your own mind. Self-talk is not about blind positivity. It's not about ignoring your flaws or pretending everything is perfect. It's about acknowledging your challenges without surrendering to them. It's about standing in the middle of your struggle and saying, even this can't stop me. It's about reminding yourself that failure is a detour, not a dead end. That pain is a teacher, not a jailer. That setbacks are setups for comebacks. The truth is, your words are like seeds. Every time you speak, you're planting something in the soil of your subconscious. If you keep planting doubt, you'll grow hesitation. If you keep planting fear, you'll grow paralysis. But if you plant boldness, confidence, and grit, you'll grow resilience. You'll grow discipline. You'll grow focus. And that's what leads to breakthroughs. Think about the people you admire, the ones who've achieved greatness in any field. They didn't get there by chance. They got there because somewhere along the way, they started talking to themselves differently. In private moments when no one was watching, they built themselves up. They declared victory long before the world saw it. They visualized the win. They spoke with authority over their own life. You can do the same. Talk to yourself like you're the hero in your story. Like your life is the championship and your mind is the coach. And every time you face an obstacle, your self-talk becomes the locker room speech that keeps you in the game. For the next 3 days, challenge yourself to be intentional with every word you speak to yourself. Catch the negative patterns and flip them. Turn I can't into how can I. Replace I'm not ready with I'm preparing. Shift I'm stuck to I'm learning. If you do that for 3 days straight, if you speak life, speak power, speak possibility, then you'll notice something. The world starts responding to the new script you're reading from. Opportunities feel closer, people treat you differently, and most importantly, you treat yourself differently. That's the power of self-talk. It's not fluff, it's not hype, it's the foundation. And if you build that foundation strong, you can rise as high as you dare to dream. Committing to speak powerfully to yourself for just 3 days can be one of the most transformative actions you can take. It may seem like a small, temporary challenge, but the impact it can have on your mindset, confidence, and long-term success is profound. The reason behind this is simple. Change often begins with small, consistent actions. When you make a conscious decision to alter your internal dialogue for a short period, you begin to reprogram your mind. And with time, those small shifts accumulate into significant changes in your life. Most of us go through our daily routines without truly paying attention to how we speak to ourselves. We engage in negative self-talk, often without realizing the damage it's doing. We're constantly questioning our worth, doubting our abilities, and allowing fear and uncertainty to cloud our judgment. We tell ourselves that we're not good enough, not smart enough, or not deserving of success. And over time, these repeated thoughts begin to take root in our minds, shaping our actions and our reality. But imagine what would happen if you took just 3 days to deliberately shift that narrative. What if you decided that for 3 days you would only speak to yourself with positivity, encouragement, and self-belief? What if for 3 days you committed to telling yourself that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of everything you desire in life? It's not about ignoring your flaws or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about choosing to focus on what's possible instead of what's holding you back. It's about building the foundation of self-belief that will carry you through life's difficulties, making you more resilient, more determined, and more focused on the goal ahead. For 3 days, you start to affirm your potential instead of reinforcing your doubts. You wake up in the morning and remind yourself that you are ready to face the day with strength and purpose. You look in the mirror and tell yourself that today is another opportunity to move closer to your goals. You speak positively about the challenges ahead, viewing them as stepping stones to growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. This small act of consciously choosing your words can have a profound effect on your attitude. You'll begin to notice a shift in your energy. Instead of feeling defeated or overwhelmed, you'll feel empowered. Instead of being weighed down by negative thoughts, you'll feel lighter, more optimistic, and more capable. This change in attitude will reflect in how you approach your work, your relationships, and your personal goals. You'll begin to take action with more conviction, trust your instincts more, and approach every challenge with the mindset that you can overcome it. But the real magic happens after those 3 days are over, because once you've spoken positively to yourself for that period of time, you'll start to realize something. You don't need to stop. What began as a temporary experiment can easily become a lifelong habit. The more you practice positive self-talk, the more natural it becomes. You won't have to think twice about affirming your strengths and your potential. It will become ingrained in your mindset. This is how confidence grows. This is how self-doubt fades away. It's not through one massive shift or one major moment of inspiration. It's through the consistent daily reinforcement of empowering thoughts and words. You build confidence like you build a muscle, through regular use and practice. By committing to speak kindly to yourself for 3 days, you're laying the groundwork for a new mindset that can last a lifetime. It's the start of something powerful. And you'll begin to see the impact not just in how you feel about yourself, but in how others respond to you as well. People are drawn to confidence. They are inspired by those who believe in themselves, and they are more likely to support and encourage those who exude self-assurance. In the end, the 3-day challenge isn't about a temporary boost in motivation. It's about creating a habit of speaking to yourself with the love, respect, and encouragement that you deserve. It's about shifting your internal dialogue from a critic to a coach, from a doubter to a believer. And once you start this process, there's no turning back. You'll see just how powerful your words truly are and how they can shape the future you've always dreamed of. Words have power. They can build or destroy. They can inspire greatness or reinforce limitation. They can change lives. But it all starts with how you use them, particularly when it comes to the words you speak to yourself. Many of us don't realize the immense influence our self-talk has on our mindset, behavior, and ultimately our success. Every day we speak to ourselves, whether consciously or unconsciously, and the words we choose either fuel or hinder our progress. That's why it's essential to speak with purpose and intention. When you speak powerfully to yourself, you're not simply uttering words. You're setting the tone for your day, your actions, and your mindset. You're telling yourself who you are and who you're becoming. Every word you say forms a thought, and that thought will either propel you forward or hold you back. Positive words spoken with intention empower you. Negative words spoken carelessly undermine your confidence and potential. Consider the impact of a simple phrase, "I can't do this." How often do you catch yourself saying this or something similar? The moment you say those words, you're declaring defeat. You're accepting failure before you've even begun. Those words plant a seed of doubt in your mind, and the more you repeat them, the stronger that seed grows. Before long, it becomes a belief that limits you. You start to act as if you truly can't do it, and the cycle of self-doubt becomes ingrained in your behavior. Now contrast that with a phrase like, I am capable of handling this. When you speak these words to yourself, you're giving yourself permission to succeed. You're affirming your own strength, resilience, and potential, and by doing so, you're shifting your mindset from one of limitation to one of possibility. Suddenly, the challenges you face don't seem insurmountable. Instead of backing away in fear, you approach them with the belief that you have what it takes to overcome them. When you speak to yourself with power, you take control of the narrative. You no longer let external circumstances dictate your emotions or actions. You become the author of your own story, and that's a game changer. When you speak with purpose, you create a mental environment that's conducive to success. You remove the weeds of self-doubt and replace them with seeds of confidence, determination, and resilience. But it's not just about speaking positive words, it's about speaking truth. The truth is, you have everything you need within you to succeed. You don't have to wait for external validation. You don't have to rely on others to tell you that you're good enough. The power to succeed lies within you, and by speaking truthfully to yourself, you're tapping into that inner strength. For example, let's say you're facing a tough challenge. Instead of saying, this is too hard for me, you could say, this is tough, but I am tougher. Instead of, I don't know if I can handle this, you could say, I've faced challenges before and overcome them. This one is no different. By shifting your words, you shift your perspective. You stop seeing obstacles as barriers and start seeing them as opportunities to grow. You stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances and start feeling empowered to take charge. The impact of speaking powerfully to yourself extends far beyond your own thoughts and actions. The way you talk to yourself affects your behavior, your emotions, and even the way others perceive you. People are drawn to those who speak confidently because confidence is contagious. When you exude self-belief and conviction in your own abilities, others begin to believe in you too. Your words create an energy that others pick up on, and that energy can either attract or repel. That's why it's so important to speak with purpose, not just to yourself, but to others as well. When you speak powerfully to yourself, you also begin to speak powerfully to others. You begin to inspire and uplift those around you. You lead by example, showing others that they too can tap into their own inner power. So, the next time you catch yourself thinking or saying negative things, stop and replace them with empowering words. Affirm your strengths, celebrate your potential, remind yourself of your ability to rise above challenges and create the life you desire. The more you practice speaking powerfully, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, your words will no longer just be words. They'll become the foundation of the life you build. Remember, your words are your reality. What you say to yourself today will shape who you become tomorrow. Speak with purpose, speak with power, speak with truth, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. We all have the power to shape our lives, but the key to unlocking that power lies in how we speak to ourselves. Self-talk is the silent architect of our destiny. Yet most of us are unaware of the negative, limiting narratives we continuously tell ourselves. These narratives, whether conscious or subconscious, become the foundation of our thoughts, our decisions, and ultimately the reality we live in. The truth is, our words shape our world. If we are constantly telling ourselves that we're not good enough, that we don't deserve success, or that our dreams are out of reach, we're inadvertently holding ourselves back. The first step in changing your life is to change how you speak to yourself. For 3 days, challenge yourself to speak to yourself with the same love, encouragement, and belief that you would offer a close friend. When you speak positively to yourself, you begin to rewrite the script that governs your actions and your beliefs. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance and start viewing yourself as the creator of your own reality. When you tell yourself, I am capable, you start to believe it. And when you believe it, you start to act on it. You begin to take on challenges with confidence, knowing that no matter what obstacles arise, you have the strength and ability to overcome them. You stop waiting for permission from others because you've already given yourself permission to succeed. The foundation of self-belief is built on the words you speak to yourself. When you affirm your abilities and strengths, you create a mindset that is rooted in possibility and growth. And this mindset is what propels you forward, even when the going gets tough. But changing the way you speak to yourself isn't just about using positive affirmations. It's about developing a deeper sense of self-awareness and consciously choosing to reject negative, self-limiting thoughts. It's about noticing when you're slipping into patterns of doubt or fear and consciously redirecting your thoughts to a more empowering place. And instead of saying, this is too difficult, try saying, I am up for the challenge. Instead of thinking, I'll never get it right, remind yourself, I will learn and improve every day. These small shifts in your internal dialogue can have a profound impact on your actions, your attitude, and your overall success. For 3 days, try to become aware of every thought you have and every word you say to yourself. It might be uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to negative self-talk, but that discomfort is a sign of growth. It means you're challenging old patterns and making space for a new narrative, one that is grounded in self-belief and empowerment. Over time, as you consistently choose empowering words and thoughts, you'll start to notice changes in your confidence, your behavior, and the opportunities that come your way. Speaking positively to yourself doesn't mean that life will suddenly become easy or that you'll be immune to challenges, but it does mean that you'll approach every challenge with a mindset that is focused on solutions, not problems. You'll see obstacles as opportunities for growth, and setbacks as lessons that are leading you closer to your goals. Your self-talk will shift from one of defeat to one of resilience, and this change in perspective will drive you to take action, no matter how difficult the road ahead may seem. Over the course of just 3 days, you'll begin to experience a shift in your outlook. You'll start to feel more capable, more confident, and more empowered to take on whatever comes your way. The more you practice speaking positively to yourself, the more natural it will become. What started as a conscious effort to change your internal dialogue will soon become a habit that will carry you through the rest of your life. You'll no longer allow negative thoughts and self-doubt to control your actions. Instead, you'll take charge of your thoughts and in turn take charge of your life. Remember, you have the power to create the life you desire. It starts with the way you speak to yourself. By speaking words of encouragement, strength, and self-belief, you are laying the foundation for success. You're rewriting the script of your life and creating a future where anything is possible. So for the next 3 days, commit to speaking to yourself with kindness, with belief, and with love. You'll be amazed at the transformation that follows. And this transformation, it's just the beginning. One of the most powerful tools you have for shaping your future is the way you speak to yourself. Our self-talk isn't just a reflection of our thoughts, it shapes the way we perceive ourselves and our place in the world. How we talk to ourselves is directly linked to our confidence, our self-worth, and our ability to take action. When we speak positively to ourselves, we cultivate an environment of growth and possibility. On the other hand, negative self-talk has the power to hold us back, making us question our abilities and preventing us from reaching our full potential. The words you choose, even if they're only directed inwardly, have the power to either build you up or break you down. The choice is yours. For 3 days, challenge yourself to speak only positively to yourself. For just 3 days, refuse to engage in any form of negative self-talk. It may seem like a small act, but the impact it can have is monumental. It is often said that consistency is key to change. And when you commit to 3 days of speaking positively to yourself, you begin to lay the foundation for a long-term transformation in the way you think and act. In those 3 days, pay close attention to how you speak to yourself in both moments of success and failure. It's easy to celebrate victories with positive self-talk. When something goes well, it feels natural to tell yourself, I did a great job, or that was amazing. But what about when things don't go as planned? Negative self-talk tends to surface more quickly in those moments. You might find yourself thinking or saying, I messed up, I'm not good enough, or I'll never get it right. This is where the real change happens. The ability to silence that inner critic and replace it with empowering thoughts is what leads to growth. Instead of telling yourself that you failed, start telling yourself that you've learned something valuable and that you're capable of doing better next time. These subtle shifts in language can completely change the way you view setbacks. Rather than seeing them as permanent failures, you begin to see them as opportunities to improve, refine, and grow. Speaking positively to yourself for 3 days might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to it. For many people, negative self-talk has become so ingrained that they don't even recognize it as harmful. But that's why this challenge is so powerful. By consciously choosing to speak kindly and positively to yourself, you break the pattern of self-doubt and limitation. You're essentially rewiring your brain to default to a mindset of possibility rather than impossibility. This challenge is not about pretending everything is perfect or ignoring areas of improvement. It's about shifting your focus away from criticism and judgment toward encouragement and growth. It's about recognizing your strengths and affirming your potential instead of magnifying your weaknesses. Think about it. When you support yourself with positive affirmations, you begin to believe in your own abilities. That belief fuels your actions, making you more likely to take risks, step outside of your comfort zone, and pursue your goals with confidence. Conversely, negative self-talk only keeps you stuck in your comfort zone, afraid to take risks because you've convinced yourself that failure is inevitable. After those 3 days of positive self-talk, you'll start to notice a shift in your attitude. You'll begin to see challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. You'll feel more motivated to take action, knowing that even if things don't go perfectly, you're capable of learning and growing from every experience. You'll stop doubting your worth, and instead you'll recognize the incredible potential within you. And the best part, this transformation isn't just temporary. The more you practice positive self-talk, the more it becomes ingrained in your mindset. It becomes a part of who you are, a natural way of thinking and being. This isn't about overnight success, but rather about planting the seeds for long-term change. When you commit to speaking kindly and positively to yourself, you create a strong foundation for personal growth, success, and fulfillment. You empower yourself to go after your dreams without hesitation or fear of failure. And as you continue to practice this habit, you'll see not only a shift in how you view yourself, but also in how you show up in the world. Others will notice your confidence, your determination, and your ability to rise above challenges, and they will be drawn to your energy. So for the next 3 days, take a moment to observe the language you use with yourself. Choose words that uplift, encourage, and inspire. Speak to yourself as if you are your biggest supporter, because in reality, you should be. Your words shape your reality. Speak with love, speak with power, and watch as you transform not only your mindset, but your life. The words you speak to yourself are the foundation of your mindset and the blueprint for your success. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by external influences, opinions, feedback, and expectations, it can be easy to forget that the most important voice we need to listen to is our own. If we want to see real, lasting change in our lives, we must first change the way we talk to ourselves. This isn't about vanity or false positivity. It's about creating a solid, self-affirming mindset that can withstand the challenges life throws at us. Positive self-talk is the fuel that drives action, and action is what creates results. For 3 days, challenge yourself to only speak kindly and positively to yourself. This simple act can have a profound impact on the way you approach life, work, and your personal goals. You might think that 3 days isn't enough to make a difference, but the power of this exercise lies in the consistency and intentionality of your words. When you consciously choose to speak positively to yourself, you are laying the groundwork for a future that is defined by self-belief, confidence, and resilience. These 3 days are not just about momentary change. They are about setting a new pattern that will continue to grow as you practice it. The first step is to recognize when negative self-talk arises. We often don't realize how much we criticize ourselves throughout the day. We're quick to point out our mistakes, to focus on what we don't like about ourselves, or to dwell on past failures. This pattern of thinking reinforces the belief that we are not enough, that we are not worthy, or that we can't achieve what we want. But by making a conscious effort to break this cycle, you begin to shift your mindset. Instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," try telling yourself, "I am capable and I am constantly improving." Instead of focusing on the things that went wrong, focus on what went well. And remind yourself that each setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. The power of this shift lies in how it impacts your actions. When you begin to speak positively to yourself, you stop hesitating, second-guessing, or holding back. You start to take bold, confident steps toward your goals, knowing that you have the ability to handle whatever comes your way. This kind of self-empowerment doesn't come from external validation or the approval of others. It comes from within. By affirming your strengths, capabilities, and worth, you reinforce the belief that you are in control of your life and your future. This belief transforms into action, and it's action that produces result. Another key aspect of positive self-talk is resilience. Life is full of challenges, and setbacks are inevitable. But how you respond to those setbacks determines your path forward. When you speak positively to yourself, you develop a mindset that views challenges as opportunities to grow. You don't see failure as a reflection of your inadequacy. but as a stepping stone to success. You begin to embrace difficulties with the understanding that they are temporary and that you have the inner strength to overcome them. Instead of retreating or giving up, you face obstacles head on, knowing that you are capable of navigating through them. In addition, positive self-talk improves your emotional well-being. When we speak negatively to ourselves, we reinforce feelings of doubt, anxiety, and fear. This creates a mental environment that is toxic and draining. However, when you replace those negative thoughts with words of encouragement and self-compassion, you create a healthier emotional environment. You become more patient with yourself, more understanding, and more forgiving when things don't go as planned. This emotional shift not only helps you cope with difficult situations more effectively, but it also improves your overall sense of happiness and satisfaction. As you continue this practice of speaking positively to yourself, you'll begin to notice the ripple effect it has on other areas of your life. When you cultivate self-belief and confidence, you begin to attract opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with that mindset. People are naturally drawn to individuals who are positive, confident, and resilient. As your self-talk changes, so does your energy, and this energy influences the way others perceive you and interact with you. The world responds to the way you show up, and when you show up as someone who believes in themselves, you'll see doors open that you never thought possible. After just 3 days of speaking positively to yourself, you will begin to see changes not only in your mindset, but in your behavior and your outcomes. Positive self-talk isn't a quick fix, but a powerful tool that can reshape the trajectory of your life. By consistently affirming your worth, your abilities, and your potential, you are setting the stage for lasting change. And the best part, this change doesn't have to stop after 3 days. It can become a lifelong practice, one that continuously propels you toward greater success, fulfillment, and happiness. So, commit to this challenge for 3 days and see what happens. Speak kindly, lovingly, and powerfully to yourself. Recognize the immense power you hold in the words you choose and use them to build a future that reflects your highest potential. The way you talk to yourself is one of the most powerful influences on your success and happiness. Self-talk is not just an internal dialogue that passes through your mind. It actively shapes your reality. The way you perceive your abilities, your circumstances, and your potential is all influenced by the conversations you have with yourself. This is why speaking to yourself in an empowering, positive way is critical if you want to achieve greatness, face challenges with resilience, and maintain a mindset that is oriented toward growth and success. For 3 days, take the challenge to speak to yourself in a way that uplifts, encourages, and motivates you. The impact of this simple yet profound shift can be life-changing. Most of us have an ongoing internal conversation that runs in the background of our lives. We tend to focus on what we don't like about ourselves, what we think we can't do, and all the things we've failed at. This inner dialogue often becomes self-critical, filled with doubt, fear, and negativity. We may tell ourselves that we're not good enough, not worthy enough, or not capable of achieving our goals. These thoughts are so ingrained in our daily lives that we often don't recognize how much they affect us. But the truth is, these negative beliefs hold us back. They prevent us from reaching our full potential and from pursuing opportunities that could change our lives for the better. Now imagine replacing those negative thoughts with affirmations of strength, capability, and potential. For 3 days, make a conscious effort to speak to yourself as if you were your own biggest supporter. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I am capable of handling whatever comes my way." Instead of thinking, "I always fail," remind yourself, every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. Instead of focusing on your weaknesses, focus on your strengths. This shift in how you speak to yourself has the power to change everything. When you speak positively to yourself, you begin to rewire your brain. Positive self-talk helps to build your self-confidence and resilience. By affirming your abilities and strengths, you shift from a mindset of limitation to one of possibility. You start to see challenges as opportunities to grow rather than obstacles that are insurmountable. When you believe in your ability to overcome difficulties, you become more willing to take action, even in the face of fear or uncertainty. This kind of self-talk fuels a growth mindset where you are focused on learning, improving, and becoming better each day. For those 3 days, be vigilant about your internal dialogue. Pay attention to how you react to setbacks, failures, and challenges. Do you fall into self-doubt and criticism, or do you rise up with a mindset of resilience and determination? Start replacing the negative narratives with positive, empowering thoughts. Speak to yourself with the same kindness, encouragement, and belief that you would offer a friend in need. When you treat yourself with compassion and self-belief, you begin to develop an inner strength that will carry you through tough times. One of the most important aspects of this challenge is recognizing that it's not about perfection. Speaking positively to yourself doesn't mean that you'll never have doubts or experience fear. It's about learning to silence the inner critic and choosing to focus on solutions and possibilities instead of limitations and problems. Life will continue to present challenges, but when you speak to yourself with kindness and belief, you become more resilient. You become someone who takes responsibility for their growth and embraces challenges as part of the process of achieving success. In the process of speaking positively to yourself, it's crucial to be patient. This kind of transformation doesn't happen overnight, and it won't always feel easy. However, consistency is key. Over the 3 days, you'll begin to notice subtle shifts in your mindset. You'll find yourself feeling more confident, more motivated, and more determined to pursue your goals. This process of changing your inner dialogue is a skill, and like any skill, it gets easier the more you practice it. The more you affirm your worth and capabilities, the more your self-talk becomes aligned with your true potential. As you continue practicing positive self-talk, you'll see a ripple effect in other areas of your life. When you believe in your ability to succeed, you take more risks, seek more opportunities, and go after what you want without hesitation. You'll find that you start attracting the right people, the right circumstances, and the right opportunities because you are operating from a place of confidence and self-assurance. People are naturally drawn to those who believe in themselves because they radiate an energy of possibility and success. Ultimately, the way you talk to yourself determines how you show up in the world. When you speak to yourself with respect, kindness, and encouragement, you set the foundation for a life that is rich with growth, achievement, and fulfillment. The impact of speaking positively to yourself extends far beyond just feeling good in the moment. It reshapes your beliefs about who you are and what you are capable of achieving. It empowers you to take action, push through challenges, and rise to your highest potential. So, take the challenge. For 3 days, speak to yourself as if you are your biggest cheerleader. Remind yourself of your strength, your abilities, and your potential. And watch how the way you talk to yourself begins to transform your mindset, your actions, and your life. This small but powerful shift in how you treat yourself can create lasting change and set you on the path toward the success you deserve.